Court records show Angel has 2 prior DWI convictions, one involving a hit-and-run crash. He was also arrested in 2015.
Go and stand up for me.
The crowd is full of energy here, just waiting to see their Democratic candidate take the stage behind me as New Mexico's next governor. Leaving that insurance information in your glove box is not a good idea. Is this what people should expect from their state government?
I hope not.
As people begin to process what happened yesterday, more and more stories are coming out about the heroes in it all. So you can see over here how much of it is piled up after clearing the entrance to a gas station in this area. I'm going to stay hopeful. I'm liking the cooler temps. Yeah. It's about time. How often is an arrest actually ending in a conviction and a tougher prison sentence? Here's what data from the state's Administrative Office of the District Attorney shows. It's a telltale sign. See the sea of people here at Cherry and Silver, and you know, have fun. There's probably a Lobo basketball game at the pit. But 2 years ago, with most of that crowd still in their seats, one fan decided to leave the game a little early.
911 emergency?
Yeah, we have a pedestrian hit by a car right in front of the pit.
74-year-old Jay White never made it home to his wife that night.
He was an amazing human being, as a husband, as a father, a grandfather, a friend.
The toughest part, she says her husband's death could have been prevented.
Why am I suffering? Because somebody was negligent?
This was the scene at the crosswalk on Avenida Cesar Chavez and Bradbury, just west of University. A police report noted Jay used the crosswalk like he should have, and the driver wasn't to blame either, saying she made no driver error. But the report also shows it was dark out. The city didn't have traffic signals at the crossing, and crime scene photos focused on the faded stripes of the crosswalk. It's something then Athletic Director Paul Krebs even noticed. In an email 2 weeks before the deadly crash, Krebs reminded his senior associate AD to ask the city to repaint the crosswalk and put up signs with flashing lights so it's easier to see. But those changes didn't come until after Jay was killed. Kay has since filed a wrongful death lawsuit against UNM and the city.
When you immediately after somebody gets killed, you're making these improvements, for me that sends up a red flag. You know, like, where were you?
To this day, she's concerned about safety because the city never did a traffic study before putting the crosswalk there in 2010. Emails obtained by News 13 reveal a city traffic engineer worried mid-block crosswalks without traffic signals are not safe enough and claimed the pit crosswalk was put in over the objection of traffic engineers. The new administration now says it's taking a closer look.
Well, we want to work with every community member, whether their family was involved in a tragedy or not, to try to make sure that something like that doesn't happen to anybody else.
The Department of Municipal Development says the city paid $21,000 for a study to analyze traffic using data collected the night the Lobos played the Aggies at the pit last month.
We wanted to choose a game where we knew there'd be a larger crowd so we can get a very accurate count. The study gets vehicle counts, it gets the number of pedestrians that come through. It also gets the times that they come through as well.
That information will help traffic engineers decide if the crosswalk still needs to be improved with new signals or signage to prevent another deadly crash. On special assignment, Lysée Mitri, KRQE News 13.
They turned a blind eye to what was on his record. And I promise you, this will happen again.
The focus at the office turned to claims of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment, with Richard Martinez at the center of it all. At the time, he was a high-ranking supervisor at the New Mexico Department of Transportation. But News 13 revealed on special assignment, the DOT hired a law firm to investigate claims against him. After that investigation finished, the department sent this letter in June saying Martinez's behavior did constitute sexual harassment, and his repeated instances of inappropriate comments and conduct constituted a hostile work environment and offensive conduct. We agreed to protect the identity of one of his accusers who's scared of retaliation.
He reached out like he was going to help you, and then the advances came, requests for favors, sexual favors in his office. And this is behind closed doors on state time.
The investigation revealed Martinez, the director of procurement and facilities management at DOT, admitted to having sexual relationships with 2 female employees he supervised. He said it was consensual. The investigation questions whether a relationship between a supervisor and a subordinate truly can be consensual. Ultimately, DOT stripped Martinez of his duties as supervisor and knocked down his pay from $87,000 to $55,000. But just 1 month into his demotion, another state agency offered to make him a manager again and give him a pay raise. Martinez became General Services Manager at the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, or DVR, an agency that offers services to people with disabilities and is under the oversight of the Public Education Department.
I was and am furious. If these things are true, if these allegations and accusations are true, then DVR did not exercise appropriate judgment.
Records show DVR knew about the sexual harassment investigation and Martinez's discipline and hired him anyway, saying the investigation was one-sided. Education Secretary Christopher Ruskowski launched his own investigation into the matter after News 13 brought it to his attention.
My immediate reaction was, not on my watch. Not on my watch.
The secretary says he wasn't involved in hiring Martinez. He says DVR had the power to hire its own employees, but he's now stripped the agency of that hiring authority. And the Education Department now says it fired Martinez earlier this month for not disclosing his, quote, history of sexual misconduct. On special assignment, Lysée Mitri, KRQE News 13.
The Education Department could not tell us whether managers involved in hiring Martinez are still on paid leave. We tried to reach Martinez for comment. He did not respond.
Sandia Albuquerque, 35502.
Sandia Albuquerque, go ahead.
There was a shopping cart in the lane. I'm headed out over there now. I kept looking over my shoulder. I hate to turn my back to traffic. It's a dangerous job.
Highway maintenance workers like Christopher Matson pick up all kinds of things on some of the busiest roads in the state.
Just when you thought you've seen it all.
A canoe on Paseo del Norte, a swimming pool on Tramway, even basketball hoops blocking traffic on 3 separate occasions. Those are actual calls the New Mexico Department of Transportation got last year in District 3, which includes Bernalillo, Valencia, and Sandoval counties.
I've had a lot of crazy experiences, and I've picked up a lot of weird things on the roadways.
District 3 handled more than 1,600 calls in 2018, sending workers scrambling to clear the roadways of tires, furniture, Christmas trees, everything but the kitchen sink. Well, actually, scratch that. There was a kitchen sink reported near I-25 between Comanche and Montgomery in November. This is just one of the places where everything just gets dumped for now. Matson says this is a little more than 4 days worth of stuff.
Stuff that's not properly secured or tied down on a vehicle that flies out.
One woman lost a box full of pictures of her children.
Her name was on the box, actually, so we were able to reach out to her and let her know that we had found her items.
Transportation Department spokesperson Kimberly Gallegos showed us the heartfelt thank you card they got in return.
When I saw what was in that box, I almost cried at what I could have lost. Your kindness is amazing.
But most of the time, they're picking up tires, pieces of wood and metal, just tons of trash, and lots of dead animals. District 3 says it spent nearly $950,000 on cleanup in the last fiscal year. These crews also handle emergency calls like highway spills and closures, damaged guardrails, and potholes.
Westbound Paseo, 2nd Street.
But while they're running out across lanes of traffic, getting rid of highway hazards to keep drivers safe, they're hoping those drivers will return the favor.
Just keep an eye out for us. Move over if possible, slow down. We'd like to get home safe too.
On special assignment, Lysée Mitri, KRQE News 13.